Group rides. Let's go!
Group ride etiquette. How not to be the most hated rider in the crew. Look, man, I love the electric unicycle community, I really do. But some of you people are actively trying to get us all thrown in prison or at least exiled to an island with no charging outlets. I am out here rolling with the squad every weekend, and every single time somebody decides to act like they just escaped from a circus. We are trying to have a nice, smooth, futuristic cruise, and instead I am looking at a guy trying to do a 360 spin into a crowd of tourists eating ice cream. The first thing we need to address is the guy who treats the sidewalk like it is his own personal racetrack. You know exactly who you are. You buy a top-tier high-performance wheel that can go 60 miles an hour, and for some reason, your brain tells you that the best place to test that speed is right next to a lady pushing a stroller. That is not how this works. If you smoke past a pedestrian so close that you change the direction of their hair parting, you are officially the villain of the story. I make it a point to slow down to a literal crawl when I get anywhere near normal people walking because I do not feel like explaining to a police officer why my motorized wheel just took out a family of 4. Then you have the rider who apparently never learned how to look behind them. This person just cuts across the entire lane without warning like they are the only object in the universe. We are riding in a pack. If you suddenly decide you want to look at a pretty tree on the left side of the road and you veer over without checking your blind spot, you are going to cause a 5-wheel pileup that looks like a giant pile of expensive metal and broken ankles. I am constantly checking over my shoulder and staying in my designated lane because I like my skin exactly where it is, which is attached to my body. Let us talk about the cutouts because this is the ultimate sin. There is always that one person who forgets to charge their battery to full, or they decide to ignore the low voltage alarms because they think they are stronger than science. You cannot argue with physics. When that wheel tells you it is tired, it is not joking. If you overlean your machine trying to show off for the riders in the back, that wheel is going to shut off and you are going to turn into a human skipstone on the asphalt. I listen to every single beat my machine makes like it is the voice of God telling me to slow down because I am too pretty to be sliding down Main Street on my face. We also need to discuss the gear situation or the lack thereof. I see dudes turning up to a fast group ride wearing nothing but shorts, sandals, and a bucket hat. They think they look cool and relaxed, but they actually just look like a fresh plate of meat ready to be scraped across the pavement. If you fall off one of these things at 30 miles an hour without pads, you are not getting up, you are disintegrating. I look like a medieval knight ready for a crusade when I step onto my wheel because I know that concrete does not care about my feelings or my outfit. Another classic character in the group ride is the guy who brings a wheel that sounds like a broken washing machine full of loose quarters. The rim is bent, the tire is rubbing against the shell, and something is actively smoking. You ask him if he checked his tire pressure, and he looks at you like you spoke to him in ancient Greek. If your wheel explodes or breaks down 2 miles into a 50-mile ride, you are now everybody else's problem. I check every single bolt and pressure level before my feet even touch the hangers, because being stranded on the side of the highway while everyone else rides off into the sunset is a special kind of sadness. Do not be the person who gets mad at cars when you are the one running the red light. I see riders blowing through intersections, waving their arms around and screaming at drivers who actually have the right of way. You are riding a 20-inch wheel, they are driving a 4-ton steel box. You are not going to win that argument, even if you are right. I stop at the lights, I wave the cars through, and I act like a model citizen because I do not want a Honda Civic to become my permanent blanket. Finally, stop playing your music so loud that it shakes the windows of the local businesses. Nobody else on the street wants to hear your specific playlist at 11 o'clock at night. We want to keep our rides low-key so the city does not ban us completely. I keep my audio at a level where I can still hear the world around me because being aware is how you stay alive. Keep your head on straight, respect the pack, and let us all make it back to the Chargers in one piece. Look, we also need to have a serious conversation about the person who treats the group stops like it is their own personal talent show. We finally pull over at a park or a gas station so everyone can catch their breath and grab a drink, and this one dude decides it is the perfect time to start doing tight figure eights and pendulum rocks right in the middle of the crowded sidewalk. Nobody is impressed, man. You are just one tiny loose pebble away from launching an 80-pound chunk of metal straight into the shins of the guy who is trying to eat a bag of chips. When the pack stops, I stop. I put my kickstand down, I take a sip of water, and I act like a normal human being because my ego does not require validation from a bunch of guys wearing full-face helmets. Then you have the tailgater. This is a special breed of absolute lunatic. They think that riding 2 inches away from your back tire proves they have elite balancing skills, but all it really proves is that they lack basic survival instincts. If a squirrel runs out into the road or I have to swerve to avoid a massive pothole, that tailgater is going to eat my rear fender and we are both going to end up tumbling down the road like a couple of rogue bowling balls. I always maintain a massive pocket of space between myself and the rider in front of me because I like having enough time to react to the universe. If you are close enough to smell what I had for breakfast, you are way too close. Let us talk about the lane-splitting grandmas and grandpas out here too. You see a tight gap between 2 stop city buses, and your brain instantly says that you can definitely squeeze through there at 25 miles an hour. That is not a gap, that is a trash compactor waiting to happen. One of those bus drivers shifts their foot off the brake or a passenger sticks their hand out a window and you are instantly turned into a human panini. I treat traffic like a minefield because it is a minefield. I wait my turn, I stay visible, and I do not try to squeeze my body through spaces that would make a mouse think twice. We cannot forget about the flashlight assassins either. These are the geniuses who buy a super bright aftermarket headlight that puts out 10,000 lumens, and instead of pointing it down at the actual road where the hazards are, they point it directly into the eyeballs of oncoming traffic and the riders in front of them. You are literally blinding the people you are riding with. I am trying to navigate a dark trail and suddenly I get hit with a beam of light that feels like a laser strike from outer space, leaving me seeing spots for the next 3 miles. I angle my lights down at the ground because I actually want to see the asphalt, and I prefer it when the people around me can see where they are going to. Another major issue is the rider who turns into a ghost the second a hill gets steep. They did not check their battery levels, they did not look at their temperature warnings, and now their wheel is overheating and complaining. Instead of pulling over to let the machine cool down, they keep pushing it up the incline until the motor gives up the ghost entirely. Now the whole ride has to halt for 30 minutes while we wait for your electronic paperweight to stop smoking. I monitor my system stats on my wrist display like a hawk because I refuse to be the anchor that drags the whole ship down. You also have the person who thinks that every single pedestrian path is a green light for chaos. They see a crowded boardwalk full of couples holding hands and kids on scooters, and they decide to weave through them like they are skiing down a mountain. You are terrifying regular citizens, man. Every time you scare a pedestrian, they go home and write an angry letter to the city council, and that is exactly how these wheels get banned from the streets. I treat pedestrians like royalty. I give them a wide berth, I say excuse me, and I smile because I am trying to protect our right to ride these incredible machines. Finally, stop trying to film a cinematic masterpiece while you are navigating a tricky technical section of the road. I see dudes holding a massive selfie stick in one hand, a secondary camera in the other hand, and they are not even looking at the path ahead because they are too busy checking their framing. You are not a Hollywood director, you are a hazard. One wrong bump and that camera is flying, your balance is gone, and you are taking out 3 people next to you. I keep my focus entirely on the terrain because no video clip is worth a trip to the emergency room. Let us keep it safe, keep it respectful, and keep the crew rolling smooth. Thanks for watching.